Well, I did it again, guys. One of my videos has made some people upset, and it's been requested that I make a follow-up video to put some minds at ease. But more importantly, answer a question that came up. Is mastering needed in today's audio world? Now, hold on, mastering engineers. Don't get upset just yet. Let me dig into this a little deeper. So about a year ago, I posted a video showing the results of an experiment. This video was titled Picking the Right Mastering Engineer, with a secondary title of Don't Get Fooled. It had this real clickbaity thumbnail with a big heading that said mastering is BS. This thumbnail obviously didn't work because frankly, no one watched the video at the time, maybe like 50 people. But recently it got some attention and we'll get into that. Anyways, this video was not my best work and I'm constantly getting better at video making, but I still think the content in this video is extremely valuable. What I did was send a mix to about 15 different mastering engineers and show the results that I got back. The results were all over the board, and what I found out was that some of the more well-known and more expensive mastering engineers gave far less pleasing results. I'll leave a link to the original video, but in my opinion, it seemed like sending your mix to one of these well-known mastering engineers was just a ripoff. Again, that's just my opinion from the masters that I got back. Now, at the end of the video, I did end up picking a mastering engineer and I showed the runner-up master, which I was also quite pleased with. But the video recently got some attention and rubbed some people the wrong way. Out of nowhere, the video started getting views and I had no idea how. Someone was nice enough to email me and let me know that my video was posted on a Gearspace forum previously known as Gear Sluts. Now, the original post linked my video and said this type of misinformation is what convinces people not to go to mastering engineers and attempt to do it themselves or forego mastering altogether. Now, this post actually turned out to be a great thing because people came out of the woodwork to give their opinion. And then there were people that stated that mastering wasn't needed at all in today's audio world, and they may be right. But we'll get to that. First, I just want to say to the original poster that my first video was not at all about mastering your music on your own. The video simply showed that we need to be careful when choosing a mastering engineer. Now, in the first video, I did state that mastering is BS some of the time, and this statement really pissed some people off. They just couldn't get over the first half of that sentence. Well, it was a crude attempt at humor, but it is the truth. Some people charge an arm and a leg for mastering and actually make your mix far worse. There are people that call themselves professional mastering engineers and just aren't. And then there's those well-known engineers that might rush through your master if you're a nobody or a local band. Hey, this stuff happens in every profession, and that's why it's extremely important that you find someone you can trust if you're outsourcing for mastering. Now, there are really some great comments in this discussion, both for and against the info I showed in my first video, and I'll show and talk about some of them. And I'll also link the original thread in the comments so you guys can go in there yourselves and take a look at the discussion. But it was clear that the majority of people agreed with the info in my first video because my first comment got more likes than any other comment in the thread. Again, I'll show some of the comments, but first I just want to say a couple things about the original video. Someone stated that this experiment was unfair because there was no revision process. And this is very true because this was a one and done experiment. It just would have taken too long to go back to all these engineers and ask for revisions, but I still think it was a fair experiment because nobody got to do a revision. What I was more shocked about is that all the well-known mastering engineers sent me back their master and didn't even ask if I liked it. There was absolutely no communication after the fact. Again, these well-known engineers probably have a lot on their plate and they're mastering a lot of songs, so they probably just didn't care about a little guy like me. But when I work with my clients, I am in constant communication with them, and I am not happy until they are happy. I assume this is how most people work, but I could be wrong. But what I want to say to anyone who is upset with the original video is that I am sorry and I didn't mean to rub anyone the wrong way. Yes, the video could have been made a lot better, but I did it to the best of my ability at that time. Hindsight's 2020. But from the overwhelming support I got on my thread, I could tell that people saw through that clickbait tagline I had and agreed with the evidence that I showed in the first video. Some of the supportive comments I got back are as follows. So this guy said, nothing wrong with the video. All he's saying is be cautious. This guy said, watch the video and didn't see anything to be upset with. You paid money for services and had opinions about it. Another person said, I just think 90% of the mastering engineers out there really don't make things better. Someone else said, great video, zero misinformation. Another comment read, don't worry, the video is indeed interesting. Someone else wrote, I don't know what's wrong with the video, enjoyed it, and he actually chose the best sounding one. And here's a guy who said, yep, I've seen some claiming to be Grammy winners, and they have like 5 small time credits on Discogs. But I could really go on and on here, and I really appreciate everyone who stuck up for me and supported me. But now it's time for me to give my opinion on if mastering is actually needed. And I think the answer really has to do with your skill level. You see, my opinion on mastering has significantly changed since the making of the first video. So somebody commented on the video itself with probably the most intelligent response I got. This guy, Paul, says, the fact is that your mix is significantly better than all of these masters, even the two which you think you prefer. The one you say has enhanced high frequencies, the extra high frequency is a natural, fuzzy, and lacks definition. The one you say is less muddy is simply rolling off the bottom end, which has become some kind of modern mantra, which denies anyone with a good system or earphones the ability to hear the low frequencies as it should have been. He goes on to talk about some of the other masters, but then states, I am a retired professional and I came across this problem the very first time I had a mix mastered in Paris in the 1970s. Back then, they had some excuse because all was eventually destined for vinyl, which had limitations in response, stereo separation, and the playtime versus level, etc. The trade-offs were real and required loads of experience to balance. This is what mastering meant, making a master which was compatible with vinyl, where the master itself was a physical imprint which was used to physically press all the discs on sale. Modern digital media has no such limitations, so it begs the question as to what mastering actually is these days, apart from having another pair of ears assessing your work. If they try and shoehorn all the music into sounding like some fashion of what other stuff seems to be, then we are all sunk and will never be able to move on. In this regard, I would say that your judgment on your original mix far outcompetes that of all these mastering engineers. All we ever wanted is to have the sound acquired from the artists, recordists, and mix engineers make it through to the listeners. But once we had that with new digital tech, the fecking mastering engineers try to secure their new role. Yeah, and you guys get it. This guy is saying, and he's giving, a great opinion and giving some great information. He's saying we don't really need mastering in today's audio world. So is mastering needed in today's digital world? Not if you're a great mix engineer. Most people want to get their songs mastered because they want an improvement on their mix and they want it to sound great on all playback systems. And I would argue a good mix engineer has already taken care of this in the mixing stage. But what if you need to make your song louder? That's easy to do, right? Now, making your song louder while maintaining dynamics and punch, that's a bit more challenging. But if you've been recording and mixing for 10, 20, 30 years, you probably already know how to do this. Now, I would argue there is some value in getting a second set of ears on your mix. But someone left this comment on the thread. He said, what about the misinformation that is put out by mastering engineers to secure their business? For example, the second set of ears argument. I don't want a second set of ears. I know what I want to hear. A second set of ears should do what? Lining up the pockets of someone that's opinion is of no interest. So this guy's opinion is, if you know what you're doing and you know what you want, why even get a second set of ears on your song? So time has passed since I made that original video, and I tend to agree with this commenter. Now, if you're a beginner and your mixes aren't great, I firmly believe that a mastering engineer can do a serious improvement to your mix. But I always say that 95% of the work is done in the recording and the mixing stage. Mastering can for sure get you that extra 5%, but as shown in my first video, it can also make your mixes far worse if you don't choose the right engineer. Now, this is of course just my opinion, and there are definitely some great mastering engineers out there, but frankly, those guys cost hundreds of dollars more per song, and neither me or my clients are really gonna pay that for that extra 5%. So for people who have been mixing and recording for as long as I have or longer, I'm sure you've discovered all this and you probably do mastering work yourself. Or if you're doing mixing work for a label, I'm sure they've already selected a mastering engineer. But if you're just beginning your journey, or maybe you're in the first 10 years of it, a good mastering engineer can for sure help you out. I really think mastering engineers are still needed in today's audio world, but it's just that their ideal clients have changed. They're most likely going after label work or helping out less experienced engineers. But trust me, there's still plenty of work out there for them. It just might be a little harder to find. The first video I made was for the home studio guys, and it was just a cautionary tale. These guys are most likely going to be searching out mastering engineers, and I just wanted to show them that they need to be careful who they pick. That's all I really have to say, and I'm sure some people are going to be upset. I can't make everyone happy. All I can really do is give my opinion. I'm sure people will give their opinion and let me know why mastering really is needed in today's digital world. So for those people, maybe you can open my eyes to something that I missed. Happy mixing and mastering, guys. Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure and go grab a copy of my home studio mix guide with your go-to EQ and compression settings for all your tracks, and also go ahead and register for my online mix training that I hold a couple times a week so that you can learn how to turn your home recorded tracks into a professional product.